If we haven't met yet, my name is Guzalia Davis. I am a hypnotherapist and board-certified hypnosis trainer. Why are we even discussing shopping addiction? A topic that often reduced to jokes or funny memes on social media. I don't think many people fully grasp how widespread and how serious this problem is. I'm going to share some data with you, and this is for United States. According to recent studies, approximately 5 to 8% of US population suffer from compulsive buying disorder or shopping addiction. A Stanford University study found that almost 8% of US population experiences compulsive buying disorder, and some other studies estimated that it's around 18 million adults in the USA suffer from shopping addiction. Contrary to popular belief, shopping addiction affects equally both men and women. There is just a 0.5% difference. Shopping addiction can have some serious consequences. Financial impact. People accumulate significant debt. It's often tens of thousands of dollars. I had a client who inherited $500,000. She blew this money on meaningless things in a matter of 2 years. She didn't buy a new car. She didn't buy a house. She didn't pay off her college debt. She didn't put any money aside. All she did is buying herself fancy shoes, purses, clothing, and jewelry. It's it. $500,000. But here's the thing, according to data, most of compulsive buyers are more likely to have income under $50,000. They are more than 4 times less likely to pay off credit card balances in full compared to non-compulsive buyers. Many accumulate significant debt, and some eventually go into bankruptcies. We would think that people with low income would be more mindful with their money, would be more careful with their spendings. But the data shows the opposite. It's actually getting worse now. Online shopping and social media has very negative impact on shopping addiction. Online shopping made it easy. You can buy things at any time of the day. You can buy things without leaving house. You can stay in your pajamas. You can order yourself things in the middle of the night. Also, excessive use of social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram or TikTok actually has been associated with higher levels of impulse buying behavior. And it's not just about money, there are serious mental health implications. Shopping addiction can be an indicator, a clue that person has an addictive personality. If someone suffers from shopping addiction, most likely they suffer from other addictions too. Shopping addiction can also occur with other mental health conditions like depression or anxiety. And we know that there is a much higher suicidal rate among those with behavioral addictions, including shopping addiction. So if you have a client coming to you with a shopping addiction, this is nothing to laugh at. You have to get a clear picture on their overall state. There can be other mental health conditions that have been diagnosed, or maybe there is something going on that they're not even aware of. Here's the numbers for you. 18.4% of people with behavioral addictions have suicidal ideation, meaning they are thinking about it, considering it. 7.6% of people with shopping addiction have attempted suicide. These are very serious numbers. These people also face serious social consequences. The relationships may get strained. It may destroy marriage. They can become socially isolated. And 8.3% of those with shopping addiction face legal consequences. Why it's often misunderstood. Cultural normalization. It's just a retail therapy. Or it's self-love, self-care. I'm just boosting my mood, or I'm just treating myself. Treat yourself. You deserve it. You're worth it. Social media with its jokes and funny memes just downplays the seriousness of it. And then this wave of coaches and mindset gurus, what do they tell us? You want to have money, you want to be rich? Live as though you're rich now. You want people to pay you a lot of money? You need to go and spend a lot of money. Another problem is a lack of formal recognition. Shopping addiction and compulsive buying are not actually officially recognized in diagnostics manuals, which is making it harder to diagnose and treat. So I want to say here that it's our duty to bring more awareness about this problem. Early recognition and intervention are so important here. It can prevent so many different difficulties that shopping addiction creates. Strained relationships, isolation, financial problems, debts, anxiety and depression that comes when people put themselves into debt, and legal consequences. None of it will happen if we can intervene early. By bringing more awareness, we can also reduce stigma associated with shopping addiction. So people start to view shopping addiction as a real problem, real issue, and instead of laughing about it, encourage those affected to seek help. Now let's talk about the science behind shopping addiction, how it actually forms. Shopping addiction or compulsive buying disorder forms when it becomes a way to regulate emotions or deal with stress. It's a behavior that is often reinforced over time due to emotional, social, neurological factors. Here's how it develops. First stage, emotional triggers. It can be boredom, stress, loneliness, low self-esteem, feeling some void, like lacking love, not feeling supported. So we're trying to substitute it with what's available to us. In this case, that would be buying things. Second stage, social influence. We are bombarded everywhere we go with societal messages that associate buying with happiness, joy, status, success, or even love. We can see it on social media platforms, in advertising, in all the sales copies, those emails, newsletters that you receive, and even in your own home with your family members. Here, look, darling, I love you. I bought you this. And little kids, when you ask them, how do you know that your mom and dad love you? They don't say because they say so or they do this for me. First thing they say, oh, they buy me stuff. They buy me toys. They buy me gifts for Christmas and my birthday. And it doesn't go away when we grow up. We see gifts as a proof that the person cares for us, that they love us. Each shopping experience provides a little emotional fix, a little high. So this behavior gets reinforced through positive feedback. The next time you feel lonely, you feel stressed or unloved, your brain remembers last time you bought yourself a new perfume or a purse, you felt good. It already knows the easy route. And what do we know about addictions? Every time you are seeking this fix, you need a little more. Now buying something from a dollar store is not going to give you that much excitement as you had it before. Now you need to spend a little more money. Every time you need to make a little bigger purchase, put a little more money to feel at least as good as shopping made you feel previously. So you need more and more and more. So where those urges are coming from? It's emotional regulation. Shopping can distract you from negative emotions and provide a momentary sense of control or happiness. It can be a reward-seeking behavior. This anticipation of finding something new and exciting can activate the brain's reward system. And social validation. Buying new things can boost your self-esteem, particularly when it aligns with societal or peers' expectation. I bought myself a new dress, went to a dinner party. Every person there, man and woman, noticed the dress, asked if it's new. Everyone said that it fits me well, that it looks amazing. Men gave me these compliments. I felt admired. I felt attractive. Every woman asked where I got this dress. They were jealous. They wanted the same dress. It made me feel good. And if I'm not very self-aware, the very next day I'll think, I have to buy another dress. I want to have all this attention on me. I want to feel admired. To get that again, I need to go and buy another dress. Doesn't have to be dress, can be anything. On my way to office, I can pick up a box of donuts and treat my colleagues at the office. I'll see their smiles, their appreciation, and I'll feel as though they're like me. And next time, when I feel a bit of self-doubt, my brain will remember that day when I brought donuts to work. Everybody liked me. I want to feel liked again. Let me pick another box of donuts. But remember, addiction always progresses. Now, it's not going to be just donuts. I'm going to get muffins and coffee to go with this. And every time my mood drops, I feel not very confident, or I don't feel loved and I want to feel liked, I'll go and buy something again, but each time I'll probably spend a little more money, and I won't even notice when I'll start taking whole crew to lunch and treat them. Then it will be dinner party, then it will be gifts for Christmas and other holidays, just so I can get this moment where I feel accepted and liked. If I don't have any other way to get that, I will use what is available to me. Here, just like with any addiction, we cannot deny chemistry in our brain. There are certain chemical reactions that are happening. Dopamine release. Anticipating and making purchases releases dopamine, a feel-good neurotransmitter that is associated with pleasure and reward. That little high, little rush that we feel from dopamine makes shopping feel rewarding and reinforces the behavior. We want more and more of it. Endorphins. Some people experience a rush of endorphins during the shopping process. They can experience euphoria. It's like being slightly drunk. You are forgetting about all your worries. Nothing else exists. You can be present, absorbed by your activity, shopping in this case, and you can feel really good. Stress hormones obviously play a role here too. Can be cortisol, adrenaline, mix of all of it can be triggered by anything. And then we use shopping as coping mechanism. Buying can trigger the release of stress reducing hormones, and that will create this false sense of relief. Well, it's not quite right statement. False sense can be real. Yes, in the moment we can get this flow of serotonin, endorphins, dopamine, and we can truly feel more relaxed, more comfortable. We can feel better, but it doesn't really relieve us from the real problem, which caused the stress, which caused us feel bad. So yes, it's true, we are feeling better in the moment, but it doesn't really relieve us from the root cause of our stress. So this situation doesn't disappear. We will have to face it again. We will have to deal with this. But how we will deal? Are we going to do what it truly takes to solve this problem, or are we again going to temporarily escape into shopping? So over time, our brain will develop dependency on these dopamine hits, and that will rewire our neurology, that will physically change our brain, and then those urges to shop will be compulsive. It will become part of your personality. And now that you understand the science behind shopping addiction, you know how to intervene effectively and break the cycle. Strategies like mindfulness, emotional awareness, intentional behavioral changes, strategic coaching, and hypnosis can trigger both emotional and neurological patterns and create the space for healthier habits. Shopping is different for every person. Just like with any other addiction, smoking addiction is different for each smoker. Smoking fulfills different needs, there are different pain they're trying to soothe with smoking. The same here. With shopping, there can be different triggers, different pain, different routes. Therefore, you'll have to customize your approach to the person. So we are starting with assessment of the situation. I was helping a lady that was dieting, not just dieting, she was actually starving herself. We just started with this assessment. And you see, this is why it's better to do it in real time with your client than have them doing it at home, because if I just gave it to her as a questionnaire to fill it up at home, she'd probably pick something from the list suggested answers that I gave. At first she said she was excited, and then she said, no, I was actually stressed. Well, those are two different things. What do you really feel? I asked her to close eyes, withdraw all attention inwards, and place yourself into the moments before last shopping trip. It wasn't long ago, so she remembered it. Ask her to be there, revive that experience, feel what she felt then, and then she opens her eyes and says, Guzalia, I was hungry. But because she's dieting, she didn't allow herself to eat, she went shopping instead. And then I asked her, okay, now you've done shopping, you're going home. How do you feel now? She looks at me and says, I'm still hungry. It didn't change anything. Uh-huh. So what if, instead of not eating anything at all, and trying to suppress that hunger with shopping, with buying things that you don't need, what if you give yourself something that will be healthy, nourishing, supporting of your health, something that will be good for you? You don't need to binge on something that is unhealthy. You don't need to eat something that may make you fat. You can nurture yourself with something that is good for you. See how simple it can be. She looks at me and says, Guzalia, I spent close to $1,000 in the mall last time I went there. She says, instead I should have just opened a can of chicken noodle soup. You see how simple it is? Next, we need to recognize the patterns, what usually triggers the urge to shop. That happen after arguments, feeling ignored, maybe after scrolling social media, you see others posting something and now you wanted to. Maybe it happens at certain time of the day, like in the middle of night, whole family is asleep, you're alone, it's your me time, and you're going on Amazon. Or maybe certain locations are triggering you. When you walk by, maybe you're driving or walking by a mall and now you want to go shop. So we want to identify the patterns which can help us identify the root cause, or at least we can identify the triggers, and now once we recognize them, we can manage them. If you get urge to shop when you see a mall, maybe you need to pick another route or make it more inconvenient accessing certain websites. Remove them from your browser's memory, remove the login, the passwords, make it more inconvenient. If stress is a trigger, teach your client how to manage that stress. Breathing techniques, counting backward, saying some affirmations, or simply going out for a walk, going to the bathroom, splashing your face, simply taking a bath. So we're talking now about intentional behavioral change. If this happens, what will I do next? You can even have them writing those little scenarios. I do this with my smokers too. They have to write these little scenarios. What are they going to do instead of smoking? The same here. If I feel exhausted and tired and stressed and I want to go on Amazon to buy something to make myself feel better, to release the stress hormones that I have accumulated throughout the day, maybe instead I can go have a hot shower or even nice salt bath. Or now I can turn on an audio recording with relaxation meditation. Or like this my client, if I'm hungry, I need to stop and think what my body truly needs and nourish it instead of going to waste money. This is cognitive behavioral therapy.